Hello, it's Peter Merrick. I'm taking my evening walk. There's a helicopter flying above me, and there's my nice little dog. He's like my buddy because the world is getting a lot smaller every day. And if you're listening to this, it's probably becoming a lot smaller for you as well. A good friend of mine back in Canada who's been censored asked me to post something on my Facebook. Usually I don't do that. Well, I did. And it had to do with five doctors who died in Toronto within a 2 week period, and each of them had participated because if they hadn't, they would lose their job and their hospital rights. And I discovered that my niece, her fiance, was good friends with one of the doctors who was very healthy to the point where she participated in triathlons. And she had a brain clot and just died while in the triathlon in the swimming portion. And I asked a question. And the question is, what's happening here? Is no one willing to ask the big questions like what is different today than was before March 2020? I also find it very strange because my background is in finance and economics. I've been involved in finance and economics since 1991. When I graduated university, I was a stockbroker. I became a university instructor. I wrote several textbooks. And I know my finance and I know my tax. And I know that the definition of a recession is two quarters that are negative with the gross domestic product. That is how many transactions happen in society. So, in the United States, there's been two consecutive quarters where it's been negative, and that is the classification of a recession. My entire life. Well, we're told that there's a new definition. Isn't it interesting that there's always new definitions? There's a problem with those of us who still have memories. We remember that people just don't run and drop dead. Yes, when it happened, especially when they were young, everyone was shocked. The funerals would be massive because it was so rare. Now it happens all the time, and no one asks questions. I just read in British Columbia that the sudden deaths last month went up 3 times from what they're usual. And this has nothing to do with what we were told was going around the world. And the question is, what's different? What's been introduced into the human herd? Nobody wants to ask that question. It is scaring me. It is breaking up families. I'm not welcome at the engagement party for my niece because, God forbid, I asked a question. Are you asking questions? Do you feel alone? Sometimes I do. I think the world's going bat shit crazy. And I will not be silenced. I still have a brain. And I know that what is happening doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. I was just listening to Vera Sherez. She was a Holocaust survivor. And she's been speaking out about the dehumanization of the other. People who have been identified by the government to being different. And they should be ostracized and feared. Did you know that the Nazis could not get away with what they did if they had not co opted the medical and the legal systems and the people who worked in those systems, if they had all said, no, we will not participate, it would have ended. But they didn't. There was something called the Gesundheit Pass that the Nazis put into place. They said there was typhus going around. And they started labeling people in the community, specifically people of Jewish persuasion, as having typhus. And that is how they were able to put them into ghettos. People just went to sleep. There weren't enough Nazis to cause those mass murders. They needed the average German to submit, to put their brains aside, not to question reality, and to forget their morals and their common sense. I'm not going to stop asking questions. And I invite you not to stop asking questions. If you're not asking questions, why would anybody want to deal with you? Because there's three things I look at when I'm choosing a professional. One, can I trust them? They're doing the best for themselves and they're doing the best for others. Are they committed to excellence? That means that their commitment to excellence means that they are constantly learning and looking for new information to improve. And lastly, do they care about you? If you have any concerns about things that are happening and these people ostracize you or have a problem with it, don't deal with them. So those three questions I realize can be applied just in general for people that I would want to deal with in life, not just in business. Can I trust them? Are they doing what's best for themselves and me? Are they committed to excellence? Are they committed to constantly learning and expanding their model of the world and their understanding of it? And lastly, do they care about you? I'm a little shocked right now, and this is a little rant that I'm having because the world that I knew or I thought I knew is not the world that I'm living. And I'm told not to pay attention to the absurdities that are happening around the world. Thank you so much, and my heart goes to you. If you have also been ostracized by those that you care most about because you choose to ask questions that are uncomfortable. Have an awesome evening.